All right, so in this video, I want to help you understand why your e-commerce ads are not converting, because I've seen a lot of people that are running campaigns, products, and this used to happen to me as well when I didn't understand this concept, that run ads and test products, and when something doesn't work, you're like, is it the product? Is it the audience? Is it the video that I'm using? Maybe I should have used another video, or I should have tested images, or maybe it's the placement that I'm using. I don't know, Facebook feeds or Instagram feeds or whatever. So how do you know if it's a product or if it's any of those other variables? And because there's many variables to consider, and all of them could be having a significant effect on the performance of your campaign. But what I figured out is that there's kind of like an order of importance of things that you should consider. Like in the sales process, there's different elements, right? There's the creative, the way that you use to display the product that you're selling. The product itself, that's another element. Then the landing page, which in e-commerce would be the product page. The sales process, the checkout, the experience, the credibility, all that stuff matters, right? And even the images that you have in your product page, are those the same that you were using on the ad? Or are they like misleading? All those things could be affecting. And all of those things could be improved. But when you're running campaigns, you gotta kind of like have your own little blueprint that you can follow to know what's working or what's not working. Because when something's not working and the data tells you, hey, it's not working, then you shouldn't be running it. You should be running something else. You should be making some changes. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna tell you kind of like the order of importance of the different elements, what you should be focusing on. And this applies to really, I would say all business models, but I'm not going to say all because there might be a few exceptions. But most types of campaigns can follow these quote unquote rules. So the first thing is, the most important thing is the product that you are selling, the offer itself. If you have a great video, you have a great campaign structure, you have the perfect audience, but if your product sucks, no one's going to buy. That's just the truth. I've tested it so many times. So the first thing and the most important thing is the product. So that's why I tell people, hey, you want to find something that works instead of having one product and just testing 100 different audiences because the first 5 didn't work. You go test a product that doesn't require you to force it, right? Go test a product that generates more engagement by itself, that helps you scale. So the product is the most important thing. Of course, the creative, the video, or the photo that you are using to display that product is super important. And that's the second most important thing in my opinion. That's why I first test products/offers. And by offers, I mean whatever I'm offering. When I say offer, I mean a little bit, I mean like things that are a bit more broad. Could be a digital product, could be a service, an event, whatever. But let's say talking about e-commerce, let's say we're saying a physical product. But the second most important thing is the creative. So once you find a product that is selling, the second thing you should be testing is the creative, is the way you're going to display that product. So for instance, let's say that you test 10 products, and from those 10 products, one is outstanding. Once you identify that outstanding product that is generating a bunch of engagement, a bunch of cheap traffic, not because it's low quality traffic, just because it's cheap traffic, because it's so engaging, it's so good that people are clicking on it, going to your store. Once you do that, you want to test, okay, what's the best way to display this product on Facebook or Instagram? So let's say that you found a pair of shoes that's crushing it. Now you can go ahead and test, 5 different creatives, 10 different creatives for the same pair of shoes, and then identify what is the best type of creative to display that product. So you start narrowing down. You find the best product. Once you find it, you test a bunch of creatives. Once you find that, you move to the next step, which is finding the audience, right? Finding the best audience there. So now let's say you found the product, you found the perfect creative, and by this point you should be making a nice amount of money, because once you have the right product and the right creative, you don't have to force a sale too much. But now, by this point, you should be looking for a bunch of different audiences for this product and this creative. You could test 10, 30, 50 audiences. And from those 30, 50 audiences, narrow down to the ones that are giving you a lowest cost per action. The action being a purchase. So a lowest cost per purchase. So now you narrow down to the audience. So the reason like I'm putting this order is because, look, if you have the best audience in the world, you have the perfect audience for your product, but your product is not good, it's not going to sell. If you have the best audience in the world, you have the best creative in the world, but your product is not good, it's not going to sell. If you have the best product in the world, but your creative is not that good, you might still be profitable and be making sales, and you can easily improve the performance of the campaign by testing a new creative, right? What else? What other combination? Maybe we have the perfect creative, right? And we have the perfect product, but we're selling the product to an audience that is definitely not interested in that topic as a whole. So you're selling a dog product to a cat lover, then she doesn't care if the video is nice or the product is super engaging. She's simply not gonna buy because she's not interested. But typically, when you're testing a bunch of products and you're not getting results, it's gonna be first a product problem, then it's gonna be a creative problem, and then an audience problem. Because people say, like, how can you be so certain that it's not the audience what's not making the sales? Well, because if you use an interest that's related, it should be making sales. So if you have a crazy good dog product with a super engaging video that you created to display that product, and you show it to the audience, dogs, or I love dogs, you should be making sales. It's not like one interest is gonna be magic. Like when the product and the creative is good, it's gonna work with a variety of different audiences. It's not gonna work with only one audience. So that's a very important concept, the consistency between all the audiences that you are testing. So if you're testing 10 audiences with a product that's great, with a creative that's great, then the majority of those audiences should be working, like 70% of those audiences, 7 interests out of 10. But if the product and the creative is not very good and you're running 10 audiences, then maybe only one audience is going to be working, or 2. That's not a very good sign, because when the product is good, when the creative is good, based on my experience, I've seen that the majority of audiences, as long as they're related to the niche, are going to be working. Not all of them, but the majority of them. I've had products where I test super unrelated audiences and they still work because the product is so good, because the creative is so engaging that even people outside the niche are liking it. So that's the thing. And after this, you can go to like even more specific stuff. So now that you have this part in place, you can start saying, okay, this reacts better on Instagram. This reacts better on Facebook. Or I need to optimize my product page. Or I need to test different conversion windows. The thing is that, like a lot of people that are starting out, they're not making sales. So they start, testing a bunch of different placements. And they start testing a bunch of different conversion windows. And they start testing a bunch of different audiences. And still they don't get any sales. So they're like, what's going on? It's because you're trying to test all of this stuff right here to find something that works, but you don't have the most important thing there, which is the product, or you don't have a great creative. Literally, guys, if you have a great product and a great creative, the audience doesn't have to be that good, you will still crush it. The placement doesn't have to be that good, you will still crush it. But on the other hand, you may have all this perfect, but if these things are not good, you won't get any results. So that's kind of like the reason. From there, we can talk more specifically about metrics, about numbers, and, improving the performance of your campaigns in more detailed ways. But this is the general concept. I want you to understand this kind of like order of importance of the different elements of the campaign, so that you understand that if you don't have the first three, then it's going to be very hard for you to make money. And I can tell you that all the guys that you are seeing online with huge screenshots and massive numbers, massive revenue, they all have the first three in place. They all have the first 3 points. And just because they're mentioning these other things doesn't mean that these are the things that are getting the massive results. It's typically they have a great product, they have a great creative, they have a great audience. And so yeah, I mean, you cannot do a lot of stuff. You cannot scale if you don't have a good product. It's impossible. I mean, if the product is bad and people don't want it, it's like scaling the crap out of crap. If you don't have a great creative, but the product is good, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like having it's like an iPhone, right? You go to the Apple and everything is nice. Not only do they have an amazing product, they're displaying it in an awesome way. And they're showing it, right, to, everyone. So the audience is broad. But since the product is so good, since the creative is so good, they have amazing graphic design and they display everything so nicely, everyone wants to buy it. That's what you got to consider when running campaigns. And we'll talk a lot more about deeper topics of campaigns later on in future videos. But that's it for this one. If you need help with your ads, with your campaigns, scaling, maybe you're starting out, maybe you want to scale to 6 figures a month, 5, or whatever your goal is, go to roicall.com. That's roicall.com, and schedule a call with my team and see how we can work together. That's basically it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.